it's a good day for me, for San Diego.
Yoga classes near the beach are back in San Diego after a federal court rules that the ban here in the city is unconstitutional.
We will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm.
The country's impacted by a new travel ban.
It's been torture. Hear that noise? People who live in La Mesa say it's happening all day long at a facility run by the city of San Diego, and they're fed up.
Can the color of your car really affect its resale value? Well, a new study says it does, and the results may surprise you.
The queen of Boogie Woogie, Sue Palmer, celebrates 25 years with her Motel Swing Orchestra. It's 6 a.m. on Thursday, June 5th, and you're up with CBS 8.
And thank you so much for joining us 6 a.m. on your Thursday. Hope your morning's off to a great start. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Chris Groh. One of the things that I noticed both yesterday and today, it's like, whoa, did it rain overnight? So unlike you, I didn't get woken up by the rain.
No,
I'm a hard sleeper.
It seemed lighter overnight tonight than the previous night.
Yeah, last night was, and most of it came about in the afternoon hours.
Yeah.
So really wasn't much in terms of actual measurable rainfall. There was mist, there was drizzle, and that's still continuing now into this morning. Otherwise, though, we're just looking at a blanket layer of clouds and plenty of fog, especially across our inland valleys where we're at less than a mile of visibility right now. 5 miles in El Cajon or Otay Mesa. Not doing too bad out along the San Diego County coastline. By the afternoon, we should be making it into a slightly warmer range. Upper 60s and low 70s by the coast, mid 70s inland. Cloud cover is still going to be hanging out by the water, but it seems like we have a better opportunity today to see some of that sunshine. Coming up, we're going to talk more about the warmer and clearer weekend that we have on hand. Back to you.
Just getting some new information into our newsroom on this fatal crash in Pacific Beach. This happened just before 10 o'clock last night. Police telling us the driver of a Corvette was speeding down Mission Bay Drive, ran a red light, and hit a Jeep that was turning onto Grand Avenue. A female passenger in the Corvette sadly died. The driver of the Corvette, the driver of the Jeep, and their passenger were hurt. Police say DUI is suspected. We'll stay on top of this.
And new this morning, the city of San Diego's ban on teaching yoga at city parks and beaches has been ruled unconstitutional.
Yesterday, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals sided with two instructors who took legal action. CBS 8's Regina Yarita live in Pacific Beach, where oceanfront yoga classes set to resume there this morning.
That's right. We could be looking at one of the first yoga classes since 2024 here at the Palisades Park. Now, a federal court actually ruled that San Diego's ban on yoga classes near beaches or parks is unconstitutional, adding that it's protected by the First Amendment. On Wednesday, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals reversed a lower court's decision and ordered a preliminary injunction blocking enforcement of the city's ordinance against two yoga teachers, Stephen Hubbard and Amy Back. So this all started back in 2024. Palisades Park, where we're standing, used to be one of the locations where people would join instructors for a free yoga class near the beach. At the time, San Diego had updated its ordinance to police street vendors who didn't have permits, but the amendment also extended to fitness classes and other activities in parks and beaches. Instructors and people complained that park rangers issued tickets and shut down gatherings, even though classes were free and open to all. The attorney for the instructors filed a federal lawsuit and argued that the ban unfairly targeted yoga and wellness activities, but the city maintained that the ordinance was necessary to control commercial activities and protecting public safety. However, the appeals court found that the city's rule was not valid, saying that the city failed to prove that the classes actually threatened the safety of people. So here's what yoga instructors are saying about all of this.
Not only was it that, and it was after that they added the language of yoga. And then they said, well, you can do expressive activity, though, but yoga is not expressive activity. Thankfully, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals did not agree with that.
And Chris and Eric, we are being told that there could be a class starting at 9 a.m. here at the Palisades Park, the first one since 2024. I can tell you that these classes fill up, which is part of the argument that the city had that these classes were crowding certain public spaces here. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Regina, thanks for the update there. People from a dozen countries will no longer be allowed to enter the U.S. after President Donald Trump signed a proclamation. Most of them are predominantly Muslim countries in the Middle East and Africa, and Burma and Haiti.
Yeah, the ban takes place at midnight Monday. There will also be heightened restrictions on visitors from 7 other countries. Amy Kiley has the latest.
We will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm.
President Donald Trump is banning travelers from a dozen countries starting Monday. He cites security concerns and says it's hard for the U.S. to vet visitors from those places.
That's part of the role of the executive branch, is to enforce the border laws of the country and to use discretion and judgment to protect the safety of Americans.
The ban is for nationals of Afghanistan, Myanmar, also known as Burma, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Trump's proclamation partly restricts the entry of people from 7 other countries. Notably, the list does not include Egypt. That's the native country of the suspect in Sunday's anti-Semitic attack in Boulder, Colorado. A White House official says the president made the final decision about the ban after that incident.
You don't have countries like Egypt. You don't have Saudi Arabia, where most of the 9/11 terrorists came from. So it seems to me like he cherry-picked which brown people he wanted to exclude.
The ban doesn't apply to lawful permanent residents, existing visa holders, and certain visa categories. It also allows exceptions when the Trump administration determines U.S. national interests are at stake.
They do have a responsibility to act responsibly in terms of who comes into the country, but we'll see where this all shakes out.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Also, in response to the attack in Colorado, the Department of Homeland Security says it's ramping up immigration record reviews and cracking down on those who have been overstaying their visas. Back here at home, the South Park location of Buona Forchetta, a popular Italian restaurant, is back open after it was the target of an immigration raid on Friday. The restaurant welcomed a steady stream of customers throughout the day yesterday. On Friday, ICE agents arrested 4 workers who are from Mexico and Colombia. The restaurant owner now faces potential fines and imprisonment because federal authorities say he knowingly hired unauthorized workers. The raid has been met by fierce backlash from the community and local Democratic leaders.
And prepare to pay more at the pump starting next month. A last-ditch effort in Sacramento to put the brakes on a costly gas price increase came to an abrupt end yesterday. Senate Bill 2 would have rolled back new clean air regulations that are estimated to hike fuel prices by 65 cents per gallon. State Senate Minority Leader Brian Jones called for a floor vote on his bill, but it was unanimously voted down by Senate Democrats.
Tells their voters, their constituents in all of California, that the Democrat Party in Sacramento is not serious about solving the affordability crisis that we're experiencing in California right now.
And these new clean air regulations go into effect July 1st on the same day that California's excise tax on fuel also increases, going up about 2 cents to 61.2 cents a gallon. And today, San Diego County Supervisor Jim Desmond is hosting a virtual town hall to discuss the cost of fire insurance and the loss of coverage for homeowners. Desmond will host the town hall with the California Department of Insurance. You can learn why premiums are rising and what's being done to protect homeowners. The event will be held at 6 p.m. on Zoom.
All right, some wet roads still out here this morning. That moisture's been hanging around, but some changes in store here. Things are going to dry up a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like by the time we get to the weekend, a much more summer-like weekend is going to be ahead. Warmer temperatures, clearer skies. Not to say by any means that we're going to see those clouds break apart by the coast entirely today, but that could be the case as we get into the end of the week and the weekend specifically. Today's forecast takes us to the upper 60s, perhaps 70 degrees out by the water, 76 out across our inland valleys, 78 for the mountains, and breaking into the triple digits once again, at least possibly for the deserts. Otherwise, it's likely that they'll hang out in the upper 90s this afternoon. You got AM clouds and PM sun, and that clearing is going to be limited closer to the coastline, but across our inland valleys, mountains, deserts, we're expecting it to absolutely take shape. Any existing showers or thunderstorms out there by the afternoon are mainly going to be contained to San Bernardino, Riverside County, and not necessarily San Diego. Here's a live look outside. It's very foggy still. We've got some mist. We've got some drizzle. Very typical. Last several mornings we've seen it. That sunrise was at 5:41. We won't have that sunset until later in the evening, 7:54. Yeah, we're moving closer and closer to 8 p.m. sunsets that we'll get right ahead of the summer solstice. Now, when we look at your current temperatures out the door, we've mostly got upper 50s and low 60s. This isn't going to change around too much. If anything, we might cool by a degree or two, but overnight, you can still open up those windows, let in some of the fresh air, and then by the afternoon, it starts to get quite warm in some spots, needing the AC depending on how far east you are. So that's why those cooling centers are now coming into play as we start to move toward warmer temperatures and clearer skies. 5-day forecast takes us to that warmer territory by the the weekend and into early next week. Today and tomorrow, though, still hanging out in that more comfortable, slightly cooler than average range. Let's check in on drive times outside. So far, it's not been too bad. 163 northbound from the 5 to the 8, a 3-minute commute. 8 westbound from College Avenue to the 805, also only 3 minutes. Coronado Bridge slowing down just slightly. It's only going to be 4 minutes from downtown into Coronado. You're at 39 miles per hour. Let's take a look at border wait times, where it is currently a 140-minute wait. Going to take you quite a while at the San Ysidro Port of Entry, about 2 hours and 20 minutes or so. Otay Mesa Port of Entry should take you about 2 hours flat.